RC Maxfield and Tobias Bath work for FM KTXT 88.1. The two have a combined 3 years of experience and are the sports director and sports reporter for the radio station.
I am in charge of the whole sports department, so scheduling, doing shows, talking to Texas Tech athletics, really anything sports related at the station. I'm the one that they come to, whether there's a problem, whether that's with Tobias, you'll talk to him later. There's always a problem with him. Whether that's with Marshall, whether that's with Jared messing up remote equipment or making me sound perfect. Thank you, Jared. It's everything like that. So we're in charge of calling games for Texas Tech volleyball, soccer, softball, all that kind of stuff. And then there's also sports shows and podcasts as well. I would just say the creativity level of it. Like, I don't really consider this a job too much. I just kind of tell people what they can't do in terms of like if there's a little too much. But most of the time I just let them do whatever they want. In terms of creativity, in terms of sports, whatever they want to talk about, I let them talk about. Same thing goes for us. I guess it is a job, but I really get paid to, talk crap to people on the radio and update people on a game. So it's really not a job. It's more of a fun hobby that just so happens to give me a little bit of money. Oh, this is the best college job you possibly can have, mostly because it's really not a job. Like I said, the best aspect of it, though, would probably just be being able to call games. It's super cool to be on the sidelines. I know they're not, football games or basketball games, but it's really cool to see the other side of Texas Tech athletics, the one that's kind of in the shadow, quote unquote. But it's really cool just to be able to interact with the soccer players, softball players, volleyball players, whatever it may be, on a week-to-week basis, get to call their games and tell their stories. I think that's probably the best part of my job. Well, obviously television's taking over, but radio is really important just because there's a lot of aspects to it, right? It's the first medium you can have. You don't need to be watching it. There's so many platforms and aspects of it. There's radio, like you said, but there's also podcasting as well. There's also reporting. There's a lot of other aspects of it, and it's a really great way to, tell stories outside of, the normal 2019 way of TV, and there's a lot more personality, I feel like, too, with radio. Personality is a much harder thing to put out there when you're on the radio, but if you do a really good job of showing your personality on the radio and, attracting listeners, I think that's got a lot going for you because it's much harder to be on the radio than it is on television. Just come up here. You can do whatever you want. You can come up here and talk to any of us on staff. There's 11 of us. We're located on the 3rd floor of MCOM. You can come up here if you're interested in news, music, sports, underwriting, promotions, videos, really anything you want to do. You can come up here and talk to anybody up here, and they'll set you in the right direction, and you'll have plenty of opportunities to volunteer. But just come to volunteer in the sports department. It's the best one.
I'm Tobias Bass. I'm the sports reporter at KTXT. I'm a sports reporter here, so basically I go to all the post-game and pre-game interviews. I'm around the athletes all the time. I interview them, the coach and the players after the games. I go to media availabilities throughout the week, and I do a sports radio show from 4 to 5 on Mondays and Fridays. And how my job is different. I'm just around the athletes a lot more. I probably get to be around them more often, more hands-on, especially with the players and the coaches. I talk to them sometimes 3 to 5 times a week, depending on if it's a big week or not. Why radio is important, I think it's a different brand from TV. When you're on the radio, you get to show more of your personality because no one's watching you. So it's imperative that you are who you are because they can't see you and see your expressions and things like that. Why people should listen to the radio is you can listen to it pretty much anywhere because a lot of times, even at our station, we record our radio shows and kind of create them to a podcast. So you can listen to it. You can stop and start it whenever you want. You can either email me or RC or someone at the station, sign up, and you can do a DJ shift for about a year, and you can get your own approved show. As far as the sports department, if you email me or RC, once again, we can find something for you to do, whether that's podcasting, writing articles, maybe you want to broadcast. You can broadcast either softball, volleyball, or soccer at some point.